Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Aaron Gravel, and I work at the DOE Idaho Operations Office. And I have program management, oversight, and responsibility for the activities that come out of the Idaho Operations Office in relation to the FOAs that we're talking about this week. Yesterday, we had an overview of the CINR R&D FOA. And if you looked at the agenda for yesterday, there were several work scopes that were shared in association with that FOA. That overview was provided by Mr. Greg Belay with the INR Integration Office, as well as introductions by Kenny Osborne and John Gilligan. Today, to kick off, we're going to introduce and talk about the infrastructure FOA, and the FOA number for that is DE-FOA-0001516. There's also quite a few other presentations that you'll see today. This first presentation is just for the infrastructure FOA. The remaining presentations for the day after this presentation will be in association with the FOA that was discussed yesterday, and that's the R&D FOA. We certainly do appreciate your interest in this program, and we look forward to your applications. And we'll be given a full overview here in just a few minutes, but just by way of introductions, I do want to make mention of an individual that's not here with us that you won't hear from this weekend, but at our DOE Idaho Operations Office, the contracting officer for both of these FOAs is Suzette Olson, and she wasn't able to be here with us, but I think just for note, Suzette is our contracting officer and should be recognized. I do want to remind you there's a lot of information in these FOAs, in both the R&D FOA from yesterday's overview and the FOA that you'll hear about here shortly. There's been a lot of time in getting these prepared and put together for you to view and go through and so that you can be ready to submit your applications. We do strongly encourage you to read these FOAs. There is all the information that you need to be successful in getting these submitted is provided in the FOA documents. But as always, we are available to answer questions, and there will be a question and answer section available at neap.gov. And also those will be posted for both FOAs at grants.gov. As we get a series of questions, we'll group those and provide responses. I believe that there will also be an opportunity, and we might hear about that here shortly, of Q&As for the infrastructure FOA, where we'll post those at an NSUF website as well. I do want to again say thank you for your interest. We do look forward to reading your applications and seeing those. And again, just let us know whenever you have questions. We're happy to be there and help provide answers for that. To get things started, I would like to turn the time over to Sean Tinsley. This presentation and the overview for the infrastructure FOA will be given by Sean Tinsley and Rory Kennedy. Sean has been assigned by the contracting officer, by Suzette at the Idaho Operations Office, to be the contract specialist that has oversight and helps provide guidance and direction to the contracts team there regarding the NEUP and NSUF awards that come out of that office. So to get started this morning with the presentation, we'll turn the time over now to Sean.
Thank you, Aaron. Good morning. An outline of today's topics. We'll begin with a FOA overview. We'll then discuss reactor upgrades and the general scientific infrastructure. We will also highlight the key changes in the FY17 FOA. Then nuclear energy infrastructure database, we will go over that. and then we will end it with review process, tools, and submissions. If you have any questions throughout this webinar, you may do so by going to the question fields and inputting your question. If your question is not answered during the allotted time, we will answer those questions later and post them on neaf.gov. Specific questions on individual eligibility should be addressed offline. This is a consolidated funding opportunity announcement. We've done so to promote efficiency and the effective use of resources. They are presenting all anticipated DOE NE funding opportunities at once. This is to allow integration of deadlines to enable better planning. Present opportunities to request funding for multiple program elements to maximize research dollars. We will be funding these by grants out of the DOE ID office. Funding opportunity is in two areas, reactor upgrades and general scientific infrastructure. The FOA will be posted at grants.gov, and you will also this year apply at grants.gov. Like, draw special attention, this is new this year, you will be applying at grants.gov. Important dates. Currently we anticipate to release by September 1st the funding opportunity publicly. Applications are due November 23rd, and the anticipated award announcements will be in April, May of 2017. The FOA is organized in two areas. Area 1 is university reactor upgrades, infrastructure support. This will combine major and minor reactor upgrades. Area 2 will be general scientific infrastructure support for universities. Some of the changes for 2017. We have removed the National Laboratory section from general scientific infrastructure. NSUF will continue the goal of funding scientific infrastructure within the NSUF using the infrastructure gap analysis as a basis for determining the specific need and location instead of a competitive process. You may review the NSUF capabilities and partners at nsuf.inl.gov, that would be the partners, and nsuf-infrastructure.inl.gov, and those are the capabilities. I would like to go over some policy reminders. Institutions may submit only one application to each area. There's the two areas, 1 and 2. Academic institutions may be ineligible if they have a no-cost time extension for an existing infrastructure project. Eligibility to submit is reviewed on a case-by-case basis. DOE-fueled education research reactors are the only reactors eligible for university reactor upgrades. Again, that is DOE-fueled education research reactors. Institutions are responsible for not exceeding the submission limit. Universities have a one-to-one cost match requirement in GSI above $250,000. Under university reactor upgrades, that's the first area, the award size, the maximum individual award will be $3 million. The expected award range will be between $250,000 to $1.5 million total. DOE anticipates to award some smaller awards. The period of performance will be 1 year. Eligibility, only educational reactor fueled by DOE. The list of those reactors will be in the FOA. The estimating funding level for this area is $3 million. Under the second area, general scientific infrastructure, the award size will be between $2 million, well, we'll have $2 million and anticipate award sizes of $250,000. The period of performance is 1 year. Eligibility. Universities are eligible to submit applications, one application per institution to each area of the FOA. University cost match is required after $250,000. Cost sharing principle. There is no cost sharing, but it is encouraged, but again, not required. The cost match is required on GSI projects that exceed $250,000. That's a dollar for dollar match up to the project ceiling, $2 million. One example would be if you needed $400,000 to fund your project, you would subtract the first $250,000, leaving $150,000, and then that would be 1-to-1. So $75,000 DOE, $75,000 the organization. The anticipated award range will be around $250,000. I will now turn this time over to Rory Kennedy. He is the lead for NSUF.
Thank you, Sean, Aaron. And it's a pleasure for me to be here. I'm talking right now about for the infrastructure FOA as part of the NSUF because this is a change. And the reason that the NSUF is taking this over is because we are capabilities and infrastructure. And we'll see that a little bit later as we go in this discussion why that is. It has to do with putting together a database that we have to help users and help DOE NE. There really aren't very many changes to how the process goes, except it will come through the NSUF. You'll apply through, as it was stated, through grants.gov. And we have a couple other considerations that we want to include in that. So as I said, the review process, the criteria is about the same, except where you have to apply. Each applicant will be reviewed for relevancy, how it affects DOE by the federal people, and also there'll be, of course, peer reviews that go on for each one of these. It's divided up, the review criteria divided up into impact, the use, and of course, implementation. Are you able to perform the exercises that you plan to? Impact is 40%. And of course, it's based on the potential for the equipment or instrumentation or capabilities to enhance the safety of the performance of your research reactor, control the operational capability of the systems, increase the safety, the quality, efficiency of the operation, but also to improve and expand the research, the capabilities, teaching and training capabilities for the reactor. The second part of that, so that is the impact. We want your reactors to be better, is to increase the use. Now the use, of course, is related to the students, the faculty, and outside researchers coming in, but also, so that's your base for who's going to use it, but we also would like you to increase the capability, the breadth of what type of research you might be able to do. So that will be considered under the use criteria. And then, of course, as I mentioned, the project implementation. The awards, you have to be able to carry out your planned upgrades on a timely basis, within budget, on schedule. And so these will be reviewed for your ability to do that. If you look in Part 4 of the funding opportunity announcement, it will cover a lot of these. For the GSI review, for the universities, it's basically the same. Both federal personnel and peer reviewers will look at the applications. The impact, again, impact use and implementation. Impact, of course, being the most important, 40%. In this case, it's the potential of the equipment, facilities to improve or expand the research, and it's particularly of interest to the Office of Nuclear Energy that it expands the research that will support the mission of the Office of Nuclear Energy. The use, again, that the proposed equipment increases your user base, student, faculty, outside researchers, but also the scope of the research that you'll be able to look at. And we will also throw in here, I'll show you in a minute, the consideration of NSUF use. Again, the project implementation, you have to be able to do it on a schedule, within a scope, with the correct personnel, and the expertise in order to carry this out. And that is, well, and that's a very important part. It's about 30%, of course. And again, Part 4 of the FOA will carry you further. Now, as I said, all of the applications that we'll be considering, and again, we're running this through the NSUF because we are infrastructure and capabilities, that the applications, we're requesting them to demonstrate that the potential is there in order to integrate into the NSUF, potentially possibly becoming a partner facility as a new facility, or to enhance your capabilities if you are already a partner within the NSUF, because that is our game, that is our mission, in order to offer access at no cost to the user for the infrastructure that is available to the Office of Nuclear Energy to fulfill the mission of the Office of Nuclear Energy. So, as was mentioned before, you can review the capabilities of the NSUF, all the partner facilities. We are a national organization at nsuf.inl.gov, and the NEID, or the Nuclear Energy Infrastructure Database, can be reviewed at nsuf-infrastructure.inl.gov for the capabilities. Just a side note, because of the importance of the nuclear science user facilities to fulfilling the mission of the Office of Nuclear Energy, if you are able to demonstrate that what you would like to propose as upgrade or capability through either of these FOAs, there will be up to a 5% bonus added onto your score. Now, I've been mentioning this Nuclear Energy Infrastructure Database. We started this a couple of years ago at the request of Office of Nuclear Energy, because they looked at, over the past years, decades, that there's an effort in order to get an understanding of what capabilities were available to DOE, and in particular the Office of Nuclear Energy, in order to catalog these and put it into a report. Unfortunately, as often happens in these efforts, it's performed well, and then it's not upkept, it's not maintained, and so the Office of Nuclear Energy requested NSUF to get a handle on this, and that is what we've been working on for the past couple of years. This is a web-based interactive database. It's not just a report, and we have used all of the reports and all of the research that's been done over the past decades in order to help populate this, update it, and this is a continuous, ongoing effort. It's called the Nuclear Energy Infrastructure Database, the NEID. So what do we want to use this for? And how are we going about maintaining this? So first off, the biggest job was to gather the data on the nuclear energy R&D capabilities. Again, this is going back to reports, calling up institutions, facilities, finding out all of the capabilities, instrumentation, et cetera, that is out there and available to the Office of Nuclear Energy. We're going to use this, and we are using it, and we're going to continue to use this to estimate the near, mid, long-term needs and directions for R&D. This goes into our analysis of the data that we have in the NEID, the Nuclear Energy Infrastructure Database. Then what we do is we perform on an annual basis a gap analysis. And now the gap analysis has a lot of information. We have the database, and we use information from the RFIs, which one of them was mentioned before for the directions. The other RFI that is submitted pretty much on an annual basis is for capability needs. And we use this. We also discuss with facilities. We get requests through the NSUF for capability maintenance, addition, enhancement. We work with our users organization, so we collect information from quite a bit of areas in order to do the gap analysis on capabilities that may be missing, need to be upgraded, et cetera, et cetera. And so this assists DOE in managing their infrastructure, the infrastructure that's available to DOE, Office of Nuclear Energy, to fulfill their mission. And all of this gap analysis will go into decisions, plus looking at the national laboratory capabilities. So the organization that we have, it's a web-based. We could start, for example, with an instrument, say a focused ion beam, a FIB. You can never have enough hot FIBs, in my opinion. And so we have the instrument, and then what we do is we document where it's located. In this case, just an example, It's at the Microscopy and Characterization Lab at the Case building in Idaho. It's associated with the Idaho National Laboratory, along with Boise State University, Idaho State University, and the University of Idaho. So what we have is instrument, facility where it's located, and then the institution where that's located. This information is sort of the basis for our database. Again, we've only been working on this for a couple of years, but we have quite a bit of information in there, and we are continuously upgrading. So if you get requests from us for information, please be forthcoming in that, because the better the database, the better we'll be able to use that database, either for the federal government to use that database, the Office of Nuclear Energy to manage, but also it's intended to help users who potentially want to come and get access through the Nuclear Science User Facility, that they know what is available out there, where it is, and eventually what the utilization is, et cetera, which we will talk about in just a second. So up to now, we have 126 institutions covered. And from those institutions, we have over 450 facilities, and within those over 450 facilities, we're approaching 900 instruments that we have data on. Not necessarily full data as much as we would want on each one, but we do have data on and identify them. As far as the users up to now, we have 75 federal government national laboratory users have used our database. 38 universities and non-government organizations have used it. We have INL as a user because the NSUF is managed through and based through the Idaho National Laboratory. Brendan Heydrich, who's in charge of this, is a graduate of Penn State, so I would have chosen another university myself, but since he put this together, we allow him to do that. And in fact, we have 25 users from industry and small business. And Westinghouse is denoted here because Westinghouse is, for the NSUF, our only partner facility, industry partner facility at this point. So we break it down in the database to a number of categories, and some of them are common categories that, as we said, institution, facility, instrument in particular. And you can go onto the database and look at these. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you know, they're types, they're general common database information that you would have for anything. But then when you get down to particular, say, instruments or a particular capability, in this case, we just pull up, say, reactors, then there are specific bits of information, specifications, et cetera, that will be associated with that. And so this is all in the database, and you can keep burying down to get all the information or as much information as you want. Coming into the database, the NEID, the Nuclear Energy Infrastructure Database, you'll land on our landing page, the NE Infrastructure Management Program. And we have up here in this corner, right now you can see on the slide it says guest, but it would be your name after you register. So if you come on as a first time, you'll have to register. We have a small little process for that, in which case then you'll have a username and a password, which we'll use afterwards, and then your welcome would say your name. Here you can get to the user's guide or the guide for using the database. You can also establish a profile for yourself, these types of things. So that's the user's control. But then to use it, it's really quite simple. You have, at this point, two options. You can just browse the data, and you get all of the information there before you, and then start searching down. Or if you have specific questions in that, you can go into the search mode, and you can really direct the search that you're looking for. We are in the NSUF, and I'll mention this in the next presentation that we have, but I'll mention it right now also. We are launching an updated website for the NSUF. The old one has been around for 8 or 9 years, and we thought it needed a refreshment, and so this is what we've done. And we will launch that by the end of this fiscal year, before September 1st, before this FOA is put out there, which will go out on September 1st, correct? Yes. So in order to match those up, the NEID database, and again, this is a searchable web-based database, has been redesigned in order to match this new web page, and so we're very excited about it. One of the interesting things that we started this past year is we have a library of materials we call the Nuclear Fuels and Materials Library, the NFML. We're going to link and the library, the data held in the library is also going to be web-based, searchable, very similar to the NEID. And we're going to link, at this point, just link the two databases. In the future, we want the two databases to be interactive, that you can pull information in one search from one database or the other as you are developing your concepts or you're thinking about things. And the library will have the NFML is going to have a full list of all information that we have on the materials that we will have available through the NSUF. The purpose of the library is twofold. One is to reduce costs. If a material or fuel, whatever, has been irradiated and is stored somewhere, there's no reason that we should redo the irradiation test unless there's a particular purpose for that. So it's to reduce costs, reduce redundancy in the amount of work that we have to do. The other is to hold on to and save materials, legacy materials, for investigation as instrumentation and scientific studies advance so that these materials are then available. So these are the two primary reasons that the library was established, and we're working very hard in order to populate the library with many more materials, capture the full provenance, the full pedigree of every material, couple it to all of the publications that have come out, the work, the conditions that those were on, and as much information on every piece of material that we have in the library. Up to now, we have about 3,500 specimens. Those are just the specimens that have come through NSUF awarded research irradiation tests, and we cover the full range of types of materials, steels and other alloys, ceramics. We have some pure materials. Of course, the actinides are of great interest. We have fission products. We have fuel type materials. But we're always looking to populate the NFML, the Nuclear Fuels and Materials Library, with as many materials as possible in good condition. So if you have any more questions on the infrastructure call, Brendan Heydrich, Dr. Brendan Heydrich at INL is our point of contact. You can contact him through the NSUF website, through the NSUF email site, or again, you can just go through the nsuf.inl.gov website. There's a Q&A section that you can work on, and of course, as Aaron mentioned, and when Sean, of course, is our contract specialist at ID, you can contact him. And again, the applications have to go through grants.gov. And with that, I will close. And thank you. If there's any questions, we'll be more than happy to try and address them. And I'll be joined by Allison Hahn, the NSUF Program Manager, and Sean will come up again.
What is the procedure to contribute legacy irradiated material to the NSUF library?
The very first thing is to contact us, and then we will discuss we'll discuss where the material is, what the conditions are. Of course, we'll have we don't have a formal process yet for putting the material in. One of the things is that in order to come into the library, DOE has to take ownership of that, and so that has to be accepted. And so after that, there will be a formal transfer of ownership if it's not already owned by DOE, and we'll talk about the cost of bringing in, what needs to be done, is there some maintenance, unpackaging. But basically, the first step is to contact me or contact Dan Ogden, who's a deputy and we're both at inl.gov.
I just registered for the NEID, but when I log in, all I see is a landing page with no database. Is there a date that the database is scheduled to go online?
Have you registered? You have to register first before you're given access.
So that he logged in. So
We did log in.
is there a link maybe at the top bar that he needs to click on to get to the data? Or
He should be able to do it through browse.
oh, I was just informed that there's a time delay between when you register and when you have full access. Does that require an approval? Is that why? Yeah, it requires an approval by the NSUF administrator. Another tip that I just received from one of the staff at NSUF is there's a browse data button on the top of the database. And if you click that browse data or search button, it should enter you into the database if you have access already.
So for the access, it'll probably be within a couple days. Usually it's short. It runs through Brendan. He does a short check to make basically to make sure you are who you are, and then you're given access immediately. He happens to be on a plane right now, so apologize about that he can't do that quick check for you, but certainly within a couple of days. But typically, it can be within minutes, so minutes to a couple of days.
Is there an infrastructure gap analysis report from responses of the developed work scopes? I think he's referring to the RFI.
Yes, are they? Well, you can. Is the RFI available to the public?
I think the question is referring to, is there some type of a gap analysis report from the results of that RFI submission?
Yes, there is a gap analysis report, but at this moment, it's official use only, and so it's only in the hands of the Department of Energy.
Is it anticipated that that will be released publicly at some point?
Generally speaking, I would say yes, but it all depends on, there has to be reviews of security and other things for export control and that before any release like that happens, and we're in the process of that. So generally speaking, I would say yes, but the time frame for that I can't address right now.
Are there going to be additional calls for the GAIN voucher program using the NEID?
The NEID is available through the GAIN website. We have a button there that you can click and have direct access to the NEID. So I'm not in charge of the GAIN initiative, the GAIN program, but I would anticipate that yes, vouchers may very well come out. When they come out, recommend using the NEID to help with that.